me crazy just looking at it. Combing your hair with your hand gives me feelings I don't understand. Combing your hair with your hand gives me feelings I don't understand. You do this thing when you're biting your lip, it's driving me crazy just looking at it. You know me better than I know myself. I don't wanna live in a world without you. You do this thing when you're biting your lip, it's driving me crazy just looking at it. You know me better than I know myself. I don't wanna live in a world without you. World without you. Driving me crazy just looking at it. World without you. Driving me crazy just looking at it. You do this thing when you're biting your lip. Without you, driving me crazy just looking at it. Driving me crazy just looking at it. Combing your hair with your hand gives me feelings I don't understand. Combing your hair with your hand gives me feelings I don't understand. You do this thing when you're biting your lip, it's driving me crazy just looking at it. You know me better than I know myself. I don't wanna live in a world without you. You do this thing when I'm talking to you, like everything freezes and it's just you. You do this thing when I'm talking to you, like everything freezes and it's just you. You do this thing when you're biting your lip, it's driving me crazy just looking at it. You know me better than I know myself. I don't wanna live in a world without you. Give it to me like world without you. Just looking at it. World without you. Driving me crazy just looking at it. You do this thing when you're biting your lip. World without you. Driving me crazy just looking at it. Driving me crazy just looking at it. You know me better than I know myself. I don't wanna live without you.
Does help if I add myself to the screen, doesn't it? Right, evening everyone. Hope everyone's good. Friday evening and stuck indoors. Yes, I think I'd rather be down the pub having a beer, but price of that these days, extortionate. Cheaper to do it from Sainsbury's. Random show, I know. I just thought, you know what? Everyone else has done a bit. We got our game tomorrow, and does anyone even actually care whether we win this game or not? Realistically. Because if I'm going to be honest, I can't say I really do. I think the season's basically done. As long as we lose to City, I'm really not that fussed. But on the other side of it, we definitely have to win this game on the other side. Otherwise, things are going to get very tough for Ange, isn't it? Because that would be 5 losses on the trot my man's got. 5. And then you will see things start going a bit toxic. I mean, knowing our luck, we're probably going to lose to Burnley and that and go and do City. I mean, that's just got Tottenham written all over it. But I'll get into that one a bit later on. All right, I've got a guest, mate. Going to bring him on in a minute. You might remember him from previous show. I did just want to say hello to a couple of people. Tony Rodriguez, how you doing, mate? Big up Dan in the chat. Ange has no plans for tomorrow or ever. It seriously doesn't look like it, does it, mate? But I suppose being a Spurs supporter, without that word hope, where do you really go? There isn't far without the word. So we got a hope. And Lokamon, hi everyone. Big up to you too. And who's this? Razor Blazer. Thoughts on Omar Marmoush? Is he that Egyptian fella in Germany at Frankfurt? I think that's the one you're on about. I can't really say I've noticed him that much. If it's the one I'm thinking of, he's the one at Iron Frankfurt. I might be wrong there. Right, quick couple. Tom, how you doing, mate? Big up down in the chat. George, Opal's good for you, mate. Big up. as long as we lose to City again, nobody cares. Anthony, big up, Dan. Come on, you. Yeah, you can stick that where the sun don't shine, mate. But I hope you're having a good day. Right. This fellow I'm going to bring on with me. He asked to come on the show previously because he had a few points he wanted to make. So I left him my number afterwards, had a talk afterwards, and said he'd like to come on again. So he seemed like a fellow that was good to talk to, willing to put his point across, more than willing. And here we are. How are we doing, Tom?
Right?
I'm all right, yourself?
Not bad. I had to change the name. Yeah. Less said about that, the better. How you doing? You okay?
Yeah, same Spurs, different day, innit? I think most people can say that, can't they?
Life being a Spurs fan, mate. It's what we do. It's. I think you hit the nail on the head there. If we don't have hope, what do we have? It's rather depressing to think about, really, isn't it? I suppose it's one of them. But
well, it has been for such a long fucking time, isn't it?
It's been tough. It's been, I want to say up and down, but yeah, the only ups I can think of really is Pochettino. But it's hard being a Spurs fan, mate. It's hard.
Look, let me get to a point here for you then, yeah? People might not remember you where you jumped on the show before for a little while and that. So just where you're fresh on there and that, let's let people see how you think and how you see it. Tell me about this season in your eyes. How have you seen this season with Ange?
Game of two halves, really. I suppose the start of the season, absolute, just lapland. Couldn't have been happier. Wasn't expecting it at all. Pretty much like every other Spurs fan. And then this second half of the season, it reminds me of, you know, this is going to sound ridiculous. This is how I see Spurs, right? Try to imagine. This is a bit of a crazy story. Try to imagine. 130 years ago, the club was founded, something like that.
Something along those lines.
Something like that, right? Okay. Let's just say, just for a laugh, it was back in medieval time, right? And the king had like a little palace in Tottenham, and it was a cold, dark night, right? Cold, dark night, raining, pissing down, and little old lady comes to the palace, you know, knocks on the door, let me in, it's cold, all that nonsense. And the king's like, nah. Anyway, she turns into this beautiful woman, waves her little wand, and says, Tottenham and anything involved with Tottenham will be cursed forevermore. That's kind of how I feel Spurs are. You know, it's hard to take, but that's what I think happened.
I suppose that's a unique way to put it. I can't say I've heard it like that. But anyway, go on with the season, rest of it.
Yeah, I think we've progressed because, let's be honest, we've had 5 years of... Yeah, I do a little bit, bear with.
Go on.
We've had Conte and we've had Mourinho, right? So it's backwards football defending. And that's not in our DNA at all. It's not what we're about. We have always been free-flowing, attacking, exciting football. That's you know, what we've done since Nick. And I think it got taken away from us with Conte and Mourinho. Don't get me wrong, I love Conte. I think he's a brilliant manager. I think everything he said in that press conference, bang on. But this season, at least at times, we're back to the high pressing, high tempo, almost tiki-taka kind of style football, which is beautiful to watch. But I don't know how, I don't know when, I don't know where we fell off. And I feel like, and again, call me crazy, like the players kind of gave up halfway through the season, and I don't know why. I mean, initially, I put it down to they might be fatigued because perhaps his training sessions are tough. You know, and the way that we play, I said at the start of the season to a couple of lads that I know, I said, this will be a taxing way to play, and you'll see us, I think, with the way he does it, we'll peter out towards the end of the season, and we'll peter out towards the end of games. At least that's what I thought I would see. So again, I don't know if it's that, but it just, to me, I watch these games now and I think we're not, it just feels like the players, I don't feel like it's the plan that's the problem. I don't think it's the tactics either. I know that sounds nuts, but I feel like it's a lack of effort from the players. I think with Ange's system, you need to be 100% go, go, go at all times. So going back to your question, what do I think of this season? In a few words, I think it's been a small amount of progress. Not been perfect, but progress to a point. I mean, I don't know if you agree with that.
Okay.
You don't.
I can get what you've said. I mean, you can say it's progress from last season, yeah? Fine.
Yeah.
But in other aspects, as all we've seen really since the first 10 games is out and out regression. They come back on themselves. Now, I can see what you're saying about the players, yeah? To play this way, you've got to have the right players. But also, for me, to play this way, you're not going to survive in the Premiership to do anything like go for a title or nothing. No matter what team you've got and you play this way, you're going to concede goals. Unless you've got a team out there like Man City or an old school Barcelona or AC Milan or something. This is why I just don't see it working in the Premiership overall. I mean, even down to the buys that we need to make, but the buys that we can make are going to be two total different things. Especially if we don't qualify for Europe in any means or manner. So like what George has just said here, we're playing open football, but I'm not sure we'd call it attacking football. I wouldn't call it attacking football, what we're doing at the moment. As all it seems to look like we're doing is holding up the ball. Possession. But then at first, we was doing it because we was doing it. Now we seem to be getting the possession because the other teams have sussed him out good and proper after 10 games and are sitting back, letting us have the possession. Just wait until we go tits up, which we always do up there, and lose the ball. Obviously down to the players, but they know it's going to happen. Straight over the top, same goals every game. And the manager ain't changing. The manager ain't seeing this. I get that he wants to hammer it into him, but surely he's got to work a couple of things out. And I haven't seen no hope of him in that way.
I have a theory.
Go on.
You said, he doesn't adapt, and you're absolutely right. And anyone who says he doesn't adapt is right. However, my confidence in him comes from his conviction. And he said all along, he is exactly what you just said. He's trying to hammer a new, what's the word I'm looking for? A new mentality in the club. He's what I'm trying to say is I see what he's trying to do. And from what I've gathered, he's saying, this is who we are. This is how we're going to play.
Mm-hmm.
And I do understand that. And I know what you're saying. It's like that might not work in the Premier League. But the only difference between us and Man City, aside from the players, is we invert both wing backs. Yeah. So we invert the right and the left back.
Yeah, I can't stand the way we do that, mate. I hate it.
I know. But City, there is a method to the madness. City only invert one. Which is fine, which is why they use, is it Ake on the left or the right? I can't remember. But
Ake goes on left.
Yeah, that's the one. He's left footed. I feel like he's the method to him is he wants to, I call it Bayern Munich football, at least Bayern Munich of old when they had Ribery and Robben, where they pin you in your half and you really can't get out. And the thing is, I think the reason why that could work is because of players like Mickey van der Ven and so on and so forth. Because usually over the top, how many times, just out of curiosity, have you seen Mickey van der Ven beaten this year for pace?
No, you're not going to see him beaten for pace because he's probably the fastest. He's probably the fastest player the Premiership's ever seen. But the second we ain't got Mickey van der Ven, everything goes tits up again.
Yeah, this is true
because it totally destroys his whole system.
Yeah, this is true. I just feel like he's trying to implement something different, and I think we should stand by him 100%. He's a good manager. He's absolutely convinced his way is right, and he's won and done things everywhere.
That doesn't mean it's going to be right.
No, it doesn't. But if you if you look at the players he's brought in, I would say a majority of them have performed exceptionally well. No, except for Udogie, because he wasn't brought in. He was brought in by Paratici the previous season, right?
Yeah, he was bought previous season, but we got him this season.
Yeah.
I mean, he's had about 9
So-
players. And the other thing that Ange stated is that no player comes into this club without me picking them, yeah?
Mhm.
Doji weren't under him. Doji was already on the way. But if you want to go on to the players' side of it with what you're saying, I mean, I just think Tony puts an excellent point here, as he usually does. Look at Xabi Alonso. What a coach. He tweaks and adapts during games. He plays smart, attacking, adapt-able football. Now, when you've got someone like Saka coming down the side here, and you've put Ben Davies there, and you're still telling Ben Davies to play inverted wing-back, when me and literally every other, not just Spurs supporter, but football supporter, told everyone exactly what was going to happen. He was going to get caught in the middle. It was going to get straight over. Saka get the ball, put it in, and put it in the back of the net. Lo and behold, it happens. And then he goes and puts Royale against Chelsea. And then goes plays Royale again.
But
this is where he's got to adapt.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, it's a difficult one. You are right. Your point is 100% right. It is, but I'm just trying to. I think what he's trying to do is it's very difficult because at the end of the day, I know what he's trying to do. You can see what he's trying to do, but I do
get what he's trying to do. He's trying to hammer it into him.
Yeah, you do have to adapt in the current situation. If you have a backup left back and a backup right back that are similar to Udogie and Porro, you're fine. You're fine. You can do that all day long. But realistically, what we've got left is, and people hate this guy, and I do not know why, because last season he was brilliant. We've got poor old Emerson on the right. Now, Emerson is a
bang
defensive.
Average at best. Oh, don't tell me you're one of them. Don't even do it, mate.
He's a defensive right back.
Yes, he's a right back. He ain't a wing back, and he has a panic attack when he looks at the halfway line, but he's bang average at best, even at a right back, for fuck's sake. Come on, man. Be real.
Yeah, but is it his fault he was brought to a club that don't play a style that suits him? You can't. No, that's not telling the defender.
But I get it. Yeah, but mate, at the end of the day, he's bang average at best anyway. So here or there, no, he was not.
Yes, he was
surely brilliant. No, you got to change your words here, mate. He weren't fucking brilliant. Not a chance. He had some good games, and then the rest of it, he's bang average at best. I don't feel he deserves the stick he got for the last 2 games because they stuck him on the left-hand side against Salah, for God's sake. And again, then the manager needs to take the bollocking for that. I mean, this is where I'm going to go to the Burnley game in a minute, yeah?
Yeah.
I mean, surely he should have tried something a bit different. No one was going to do worse than what Royale had already done at Chelsea there. You got Salah coming at you. All right, he's lost a yard of pace, but still one of the best players the Premiership's seen. And he goes and sticks Royale there again. Shouldn't he have just stuck Dragusin there? Or stuck Van der Ven there and Dragusin in the middle? Shouldn't they have tried something? This is what I mean by adapt. Try something.
I think the reason for that is Van der Ven in the middle is integral to his plan. So I hear you. And listen,
no, Van der Ven has to stay in the middle. I agree.
Mate, I was sitting there also thinking, come on, get Dragusin on, get Radu on, and then get Van der Ven on the left. Perfect, because Van der Ven's got pace. But that's not Ange's system. He relies on certain players to do certain things. And I think that's why it wasn't done. Look, I think the problem Ange has got is we've gone from an ultra-defensive team to an ultra-attacking team. And the reserves that we have, such as your Ben Davies, 7 out of 10 Ben, your Ben Davies, your Emerson Royale, they just don't fit into that system in any way, shape, form. So although he is trying to continue with this is how we play, you do have a point that if we don't have the manpower to do so, you can't. And I do understand that point.
I mean, I don't know about you, yeah, but one thing I've always loved going down the pub and whatever with a few mates, having a few games of poker, yeah. Now, some
Yeah,
people just play it as you get it. Other people have got tactics to it, yeah.
yeah.
But you can only play. You can have all the tactics in the world, but you can only play with the hand you got. So isn't he being naive? Is he being ignorant? Has he done anything that can give us any hope next season that he's going to have some ideas for when he's got to change something? With
Well, his
Newcastle,
words.
when we conceded that first one, he should have told them, sit back 10 yards, soak it up for 15 minutes, 10 minutes, and then go in for it again. But he don't even change that. And he don't even make about 4 different occasions now. We've been 3-4-0 down before he even makes a sub. Come on, give me some hope then.
I'll stick to my guns here and I'll say this much. Listen, usually I'm Captain Despair. And because I see with Tottenham for how it is. I've got a friend in a group, Spurs group, that's Mr. Brightside all the time, bless his heart. And I dampen his day. I dampen his day. But the only way I could give you hope is saying this. I just think, actually, you know what? I've got a little statistic for you before I say this.
Go for
And
it.
the listeners. Ange Postecoglou, Jurgen Klopp, and what is his name? Pep Guardiola.
Yep.
Their first season, Ange has done better than both of them in terms of point tally. He
Okay.
has. In terms of point tally, he has statistically done better than 2 world-class managers.
When did Klopp get to his first final?
You
What
know
about
what? I'm
Pep?
Spurs.
Yeah. Now with this one, this is one that Stel asks a lot, yeah. And it is a fair point. I mean, it always gets me sitting in the middle. So I'll ask it to you before we go to Burnley, yeah? Who's had the better season? Poch or Ange? And this is Stel's question. He always asks it, and he catches me right in the middle on this one because one day that side, one day that side with me. But who's had the better season, Poch or Ange?
Okay.
Tricky
For me,
one,
it's
isn't it?
simple, really. Have Chelsea won a cup this season?
No, but they've been in cup finals.
No. Hear me out. Have Chelsea won a cup this season? Yes or no? But Tottenham won a cup.
Do they ever?
Yeah. Tell me, Tottenham are above Chelsea right now, correct?
Yeah, I think we're about 6. I think we're about 6 points above them still.
Jesus, have they closed the gap that badly? Right. Well, regardless, league position dictates they don't have a cup. We don't have a cup. League position dictates we've had the better season. And bear in mind the difference between, I mean, Pochettino has got what, £1 billion worth of players to play with.
That none of them he asked for. Don't forget, Ange asked for every single one of these players, so he says. This is where I get funny with my manager. He's the one who states nobody comes into this club without me picking them off. Yeah.
And
said it.
What player do you have a problem with that he's brought in thus far?
Right.
Except for Werner, because I don't think Werner was him.
Well, he said any player that comes in is his choice. So it's on his head. He shot himself in the foot. Right. I'll start you off then. Johnson. Now, Johnson has progressed. Yeah, we see him for 10 minutes in a fucking... Yeah, we see Johnson for 10 minutes in a game, not 5 minutes in a game now.
Yeah, it's true.
Where are you going to go in the world with someone like Johnson? Now, some people seem to tell me he's a good player and everything. Yeah, he shows up for 5 minutes here and there, scores against the lower league team and everything and that, and doesn't do jack shit when it comes down to the crunch. And for 47 million, you're telling me we couldn't have gone and done better than that?
All right. Okay, let's do Johnson. I like this. Okay. Adam Johnson. Jesus. Brennan Johnson. I totally agree. 47 million blew my mind a little bit. I won't lie. I massively overpriced. Nottingham Forest fans turn around and said he does exactly what you're complaining about now. He turns up for a second and then disappears. However, you've got to base it off statistics, and statistically, he's scored, I think, 4 goals and 7 assists. Bear in mind, most of his appearances have been substitute appearances. So, in all fairness, Ange buys people now based on their growth, their statistics, their season after season, where have they come from, what have they done, have they improved year on year on year on? And Brennan Johnson has done exactly that, and he's homegrown. Am I right in thinking?
Yes,
Welsh,
that
isn't
is
he?
one of the reasons why I reckon we might have got him in. Pure reason.
Right, okay, that's
Come
fine.
on, man. Brennan Johnson is not going to win you trophies. Not a chance. At 47 million.
He's 20. He's just turned 23. I don't think you can say that. I don't think you can write someone off that quickly. Do you know what I've seen from Brennan Johnson? Do you know what I've seen from Brennan Johnson that gives me hope? When he does turn it on, he's been fantastic. His low crosses into the box are pinpoint accurate. Pinpoint accurate.
Yeah,
and
it takes him 10 attempts to get that one in. On average.
Well, you show me a footballer, Harry Kane. How many shots does Harry Kane have to have before he converts half the time?
Well, Son's got a better. Son's got a better conversion rate than he has.
Yes. But I've always said Son is.
You can say with Johnson, he needs countless chances to do it. We need players that can do it now. It's like saying Timo Werner. Yeah, give him 20 shots on the goal, and he might be able to put it in. I mean, Werner is that bad. He couldn't even score in a bloody house in Amsterdam on a red night. You know what I mean? He's that poor.
Yeah.
And Ange is the one who says he has them all. But Johnson, for me, we've got one person in that entire club who can cross that fucking ball, and that is Porro. And he inverts him. No one else has got a good steady cross on him. I mean, Werner can't cross for shit. Son can't cross for shit when he plays out wide. Johnson can't cross for shit. Kulusevski is so predictable. We ain't got people who can cross that ball in.
You know what, Kulu this season for me, the first half of the season, Kulu was amazing. I don't know what happened to him in the second half, but
the first 6 months we get.
Yeah,
apart from that, he's been shit, and I've defended him big time.
Yeah, me too. Honestly, I thought he was under the radar, one of our best players for half of the season, because every time he got the ball, he did something. Honestly, who knows, mate? Maybe we should all just go and support like another team, like a low league team or something. I don't know, but no, look, Johnson is a good little player. He's massively overpriced, but I can see something in him, and he does need to develop. He's 23 years of age. He's only ever been at Nottingham Forest, to my knowledge.
Yeah.
And, look, let's just see what he does next year. I think at the end of the day, let's not forget here, right? I think a lot of people forget this. Ange has been in the job for 10 months. Players like Johnson have been at the club for 10 months. Johnson's got 4 goals and 7 assists. That's pretty damn good considering how much, play time.
But look who he gets him against.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
It does when you can't score against the bigger games. You need to win those big games as well if you want to do something. I think that's... So, to put the point on, would you say Johnson's been a success? I wouldn't say he's been a success for 47 million.
He won me over a little bit, if I'm honest with you. Do I think he's a world beater? No, I don't. Not yet. I think there's a possibility there, but no, he's not a world beater. The difficult thing is, because of his price tag, you think 50 million, this guy's has got to be fucking mustard immediately. I think, look, he's won me over. I think he's a good little buy. Again, it's just a shame about the price tag. If you came to me and said, do you want Brennan Johnson for, if I call him Adam Johnson one more time, I swear to God, do you want Brennan Johnson for 30 million? I'd snap your hand off, because I think the parts I have seen of him, I've been very impressed. And you know what? He's got a bit of banter to him, that kid. He's got a bit of fire to him. You remember the celebration he did with
but mate. And then how many times doesn't he take his man on when he should be knocking it past it and running it? Because that's one thing he can actually do. And 9 times out of 10, he ain't got the bottle to do it. But okay, next one. If you want to go on the list of players he's bought quickly.
Go for it. Let's do it.
Maddison. First 10 games, brilliant. But since he's been back from that injury, he's been shit. End off.
That might be my son's fault. I know that sounds weird. He said to me, Dad, could you imagine Could you imagine if Maddison comes back from injury and is a complete flop? And I said to him that day when he said that, I said, why would you say
Leicester
such
did
a
warn us.
I mean, look, listen, I actually can't. I have no idea about Maddison. That's a tough one. I mean, we've seen what he's capable of. What a
Yeah.
player on his day. But he's just,
Yep.
it feels like the entire team, your Johnsons, your Maddisons, even you Dogie and Porro, they all seem to be lacking a bit of confidence. So at the start of the season, Ange said to him, if you lose, it's on me. So you go out there, try new things, express yourself. That's what he said from day dot. He said, if we lose, that's on me, which is brilliant because then it gives confidence to players like, well, if I mess up. And Maddison said that in interviews before. You know, he said, if we mess something up, we just go again. And for some strange reason, nearly every player in that damn team has. It's almost like lost the ability to want to just.
Yeah, but that's where it's actually looking like he's almost lost the dressing room. The way they play on that pitch, it's like they've lost him.
It looks. It does look like it. I just don't think it is. It can't be. It can't be. How? I can't see that being the case. I mean, it does. I'm not
It's how it looks, isn't it?
It does. It does. It does.
The way he marks on the corners, what is it? You know, his zonal marking and everything and that. And about 25-30% of goals we conceded are all through set pieces, and he still hasn't adapted to that either.
Yeah.
Again, people say he done a better season for the second one at Celtic. His second season was better for it. But come on, man, I need to see some hope at the moment. I'm still all up that he needs some due time to get in the players he needs and to show that he can do something. But at the moment, stubborn is an understatement. He's as bad as Conte in that aspect.
Let me ask you a question. Would you say, now, take your angry Tottenham fan cap off for a minute, because believe me, I get it, but would you say we've been unlucky this season? And the reason why I'm asking you this question is quite simple. Aside from the last few games, we've actually defensively been incredibly solid and only conceded, if you're a FIFA player, bullshit goals. Goals like wonder goals and a few set pieces here.
It's not even wonder goals. It's not even the amount of chances we give away. It's the chances we give away. We might as well put it in the back of the net for them. Same goals every game.
But is that players or is that tactics?
Right. And if it's got to be something down to the tactics and the players. So it's down to the manager to work this out now. I mean, when you're playing inverted and you open up, it's the same, and you open up on the left or right, comes down the left, Van der Ven has to come out, Romero has to go wide with him. We're totally open now. And it happens, same goals every game. Shouldn't our manager be adapting by now? Look at other players. Vicario, they've sussed him out. Great player we got there. I knew about him in Italy because I follow Serie A. A lot of people didn't want the idea of getting him. But he's been sussed out on his weak spot.
Yeah, but that's bullshit. It's that no.
Why aren't all the other players coming in now from the other teams, barging him up and touching him up now? Look at Ben White the other day. He was pinching him. So shouldn't one of the players?
It's a loophole.
Yeah. So shouldn't one of the players be protecting him, or shouldn't the manager have realised this has happened like 7 games on the trot? Cover your goalkeeper.
They are now. To be fair, they are now. You are right, but it's like a technicality. That's a bullshit thing. You know, let's crowd the goal. That shouldn't be allowed. But that's what I'm talking about.
Where the ball's not in play, they can't do nothing. It is a weakness for Vicario. Set pieces is his weakness. No one's perfect, but he's been a brilliant keeper for us. And then you look at other ones as well. VDV, he's been quality. We know that, yeah? But we keep playing him like this. He's going to rip his hamstring up again and again to the point where he can't play anymore, same as Michael Owen. Kulusevski, he's been shit. Dragusin, we don't even know. I mean, I've seen him play once in Italy, and that was against my team, Inter Milan, and he was bloody good. And we've seen him play, twice here, and didn't have the best games, didn't have the worst, but bloody hell, stick him on the left instead of Royale. Velez, who is he? Werner, well, need I go any further? But that's been his bias, and it's all been on his head.
Velez wasn't his buy.
Yeah.
No, he wasn't.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was.
Velez was bought the previous season and left on loan.
No. That was a Doji. Velez was bought this season. No, Velez was bought this season. Check it up. And we've only ever played him a matter of 5 minutes. Yeah, he was bought. He was bought this season.
He was bought for 15 million from that Argentine.
That's right. This season. So again, it's on Ange. This is where the man has shot himself in the foot. He should not have stated that every player here is under my name, whatever else than that, because then the crap players come in, people start asking questions. Like if we go and sign Timo Werner and actually sign that prick, there's going to be a lot of people out here, me including it, thinking Ange out.
Is Timo Werner not worth 15 million, you think?
No, he's fucking not, mate. The fella is not worth a rub. He is absolutely shit. He's a poor man's son. He plays exactly the same way. He's just awful at it. He plays exactly the same way as Son. He's just fucking terrible at it. I don't want that player in my team. He is absolutely shot to shit, mate. He's useless. So with all that, so if we then go and buy him and he's under Ange's head, that's not giving you much hope in your manager again, is it?
Yeah, I suppose. I still don't. I'm convinced. Look, with Velez, there was big talk around Velez, and I know, obviously, that if I'm not mistaken, Paratici's not currently employed by the club, but he's still making moves for us all day long.
Yeah, of course he is. We know that.
He's the connections that guy's got. Good Lord. Honestly, I'm not. I mean, this is just my opinion. I'm not convinced that Velez was his signing. I feel like
it was his signing.
I feel like the way Daniel Levy works is.
We all know how that trick works.
Yeah, please don't get me started on that fucking twat. The way Levy works, I think manager will say, "This is what I want," and Levy will say, well, "Okay, we've got A, B, and C players that we can get. You can pick one of them." That's how I feel Levy works. And when I say A, B, and C players, I mean bargain bucket number 1, bargain bucket number 2, bargain bucket number 3. But I feel with Velez, because he's got people are speaking, a lot of scouts have looked at him and he's highly touted, especially out in Argentina. I feel like that was more.
There's a chance there, but nobody knows. But there we go.
Well, listen, I mean, he's not even getting game time at Seville, is he?
It's telling you something then. Right. So what I'll go over to then, seeing as you said you haven't got all night. Burnley, our next game. Where are we going to go with this one? Where do you see this one going? Do you even actually care?
No,
because I think a lot of people are at the point where they've lost caring now.
Do you know what sucks? And I don't know if you agree, but the one game that we might win isn't on TV. I think we'll probably win, if I'm honest with you. However,
we should be beating Burnley. We should be beating them.
100%. But then didn't Burnley beat recently?
But look how damaged that team is now, yeah? 4 big defeats back to back, basically. Bar the Chelsea one, but it's still a big defeat because it's Chelsea. I mean, we always get done by them anyway. But if it's looking like he's lost that dressing room. I mean, as a defender, I wouldn't want to be playing like this because the amount of pressure on the defender for this is unreal. Yeah, and if they can't hack it, then okay, we have to ride it and that. But with the 4 straight defeats, if we then go and get a 5th one, then hopefully we do lose against City. You might as well. The season's already done. But if we win 2 of these games, we can definitely say we keep 5th place and we're in Europa. Now, I'd rather finish in Europa. We're not going to get Champions League place, so it's neither in or there. But I'd rather go Europa than Champions League, because if we go Champions League and Ange plays this style with these players, because I can't see him bringing in that many good players unless he goes and does what Spurs does every season, and that's buy about 5 or 6 bang average players and maybe one good one, we're going to get absolutely torn a new one. We come out of the place walking like John Wayne. So I don't want no Champions League. So I'm quite happy to stick with Europa on that one. But wouldn't you think that this game against Burnley now, where the season is basically done, don't you think this is a time where he can try something? Give us fans a bit of hope that he has got a bit of adapting on him, even though it'll be a game or two too late, because we wanted him to do it with Arsenal and Chelsea.
Look, listen, we've wanted exciting football for a very, very, very long time. 5 years now. Okay. He's trying to change. I mean, some of these players have had that mentality of the Contes and Mourinho's embedded into them. Okay, and so are the bloody fans. It's been horrendous. He's trying to change something, and he's trying to implement what he wants. And I just think, you got to support the guy. Just let him do his thing this season. It's a trial run this season. It's the beginning of a new era, hopefully. He's probably going to do the exact same thing. In fact, I can tell you for free, he is going to do the same thing. He knows
he's got to adapt, surely.
Well, listen. At the end of the day, he says what? I don't give a shit about Champions League. He says I want my teams to play well. That's what he says. He says I want my teams to play well. I want the performance to come first and foremost, which is beautiful. So let's just, with this whole Burnley thing, look, you don't care, I don't care, the people don't care. Let's just let him do his thing this season. Honestly, I think next season is going to be huge. But as for the Burnley game, I don't know. I guess he'll stick with what he's been doing, and I'll probably say, you know what? I'm going to go back to what you said. We'll probably lose to Burnley and beat Man City. Do you know that? Because it is our luck. That's exactly what we do. But it's
got Spurs written all over it, isn't it?
100,000,000%. But as for Ange Postecoglou, he's trying to do something. We've got to let him do it. I know what you're saying. I know there's needs to adapt, but if he thinks I need to hammer these boys into doing exactly the way I want them to do, then so be it. Because that's realistically, what was anyone expecting this season? Because I know I weren't expecting a lot. We've done all right.
That's where you change during the season. I mean, that's what happens in football. Sometimes you think you're going to have a great season, and then you realise your team's bang average, and it goes that way. I was expecting 7th, I'd say. But then after about 10 games, when I see the team he's actually got, he's had a significantly better team than Conte. I mean, Conte's team was awful, to say the least, and he's only conceded 6 goals less than Conte. And Conte had to deal with Davis, Dyer, and Longley or Sanchez as defenders.
Okay. Yeah, fair enough.
There's a problem here with this defence. There's a problem here because he's in the Premiership now. He's not in Scotland anymore. This is what I mean by he has to adapt to certain little games, certain points in games. He's got to realise that he can't just stick Ben Davies out on the left with Saka, or go and stick Chicken Royale out on the fucking left with Salah. This is where I want to see him adapt.
Can I put you into a world of hypothetical theories? And again, this is just what I think. What if, this might sound ridiculous, what if he is just trying to perfect a specific way of playing football before he moves on to anything else? And what if he's trying to have our players perfect his plan A? And then perhaps...
I totally get that. But if he wanted to get more money and better players, and there was actually a chance of us at one point getting top 4, which not many of us thought we would.
No.
But that's where it changes during the season.
Mm-hmm.
And then, isn't there times where he should have adapted in those games or not waited until we're 3-0 down before he makes a sub to try and get us those points to get us in that top 4 position? Not that I want it personally, yeah, but thinking on a manager state, thinking out Levy, we all know if the money he just don't, it ain't going to happen. And plus, if you're in the Champions League, you can attract better players as well.
Is that true though?
Oh, sure it is.
Is that true? Because realistically, I just want to make a point here. Attract better players because Levy's going to go and buy them.
Well, Ange says it's all on him.
Well, we'll see. Look,
I mean, this is where I am interested to see who we can get rid of, because there's about 11 players we need to get out of this club now, and who he's going to bring on. Now, I'll take it serious. Like people have heard me say 100 times, I'll take it serious if we go and make 3 transfers next season, that are 3 quality players, very good players, that are going to walk into that team. And then in January, we go get another good player. And then the following season, we go and get another 3 solid players that can get into that team, or at least fight for that place in the right wing or whatever, where the winger doesn't cross the ball properly, looks over his shoulder, and he knows he's lost for 2 games, like at City. Yeah. Then I can take things serious.
To answer your question, yes, Ange probably should have adapted in those games, right? But he doesn't seem to think so. He's not stupid. Okay, we look. I know we're all passionate fans, and we think we know the most. I can't believe I'm saying this. We think we know the most, but he obviously sees and knows something we don't. He must do. Mm. He must do. Because otherwise, he would have.
You'd hope so.
100%. But this is what I'm trying to say. Stick with him, because
I think most people are. I don't think there's a lot of people out there that are Ange out at the moment. I'm not Ange out at the minute, yeah? But I must admit, my hopes are few and far between at the minute, where I haven't seen him do anything that shows me whether he wants to or whether he even can play a different way of football. That's the way I'm seeing it at the moment. Not does he just want to stick to this way, does he not know no other way? Because he hasn't done nothing to prove that he knows any other way.
I'd like to think he knows what he's doing. He, next season, is fully expecting a title challenge. People can laugh at that if they want, but in his mind, he's fully expecting that. I know that's...
Yeah, then the man needs to lay off a bit, yeah? Then he needs to calm down. Next time, he just needs to say no, yeah? Because you ain't going for no title challenge. You ain't going for no title challenge when you got Brendan Johnson on the fucking right, Richarlison in the middle, and someone like Werner and on the left or whatever. It's not happening.
Yeah, I hear you.
He should not have said nothing about a title challenge. He should not have said a single word about it. Again, he shot himself in the foot.
I love it. Do you know how many fucking Spurs managers I've watched that absolutely play us down? No, we can't. No, we won't. No,
because they're being honest.
No, but regardless, do you know, for me, at the very least, it's nice to hear a manager go, well, yeah, we're going to try and win the league. We're not interested in top 4.
Yeah, because but then he shot himself in the foot.
Bollocks, why? You should have that mentality.
Yeah, but when you get your fans that high, like we're going for a title challenge, and then you go and buy a Timo fucking Werner, the fans are going to go toxic on you double quick.
I know.
He shot himself in the fucking foot.
Yeah, but are you telling me there's no part of you that doesn't think I finally got a manager that wants what I want? Because
we already had 2 of them. We already had 2 of them. 2 of the best managers there's ever been, Conte and Mourinho. Now, don't tell me they didn't come here wanting to win something. They came here, saw how shit it was, and blatantly knew they weren't going to win nothing. So they weren't going to big it up that they want to go for it, make themselves look like idiots. Where they're standing there saying we're going for a title challenge next season, all the fans getting hyped on it, then seeing this season deteriorate to shit, and then next season he shot himself in the foot. Surely he should have kept his mouth shut in that aspect. Now, there's nothing wrong with saying I want to see us do better next season, but to sit there and say I want us to go for the title next season, Hasn't he just shot himself in the foot? Because it's going to turn a lot of fans on him. It already is.
Yeah, I know. I think it shows a man with convictions, and I thoroughly understand what you're saying, and you are for the most part right. But I just feel like I feel like it's a tough one. If we can, if we can do something better than this season in the following, who knows where we'll be? I mean, look, realistically, we were fourth. We got to fourth, and we were doing well for a good, what, 6, 7 months, would you say we were doing all right? About
I
that,
wouldn't
six,
have even
7 months.
said that far. About 4 months, and then we
Yeah,
had the injuries, and they sussed out his style of play, basically.
yeah. And again, that's something we haven't touched on, to be fair. This season has been, excuse my French here, but a bit of a clusterfuck. We've had severe injuries, left, right, and centre. There's not been the extra European games to implement the system. It's been very stop, start, stop, start, stop, start.
Oh,
So
yeah,
as,
but
as
hang on.
much as
The fact that we haven't had the European games and we've played literally the least amount of football by one game that you can play in a season, he's had more time than ever to hammer it into the team on how to do it. He's had all the time in the world. And the players,
Chelsea
half
did
of them
it, didn't
still
they?
don't have it, and half of them still ain't got a clue what they're doing.
Yeah, yeah.
Or he's
But
lost them,
let's
or
not
they're the
forget,
wrong players.
yeah, practice is one thing. The real thing is something very different. So although you've got a point, at the end of the day, I do feel like you need constant games to implement it better. And again, this is 3 of the 4 back line are brand new. There's a lot to take into consideration. It's not just so cut and dry.
No, not everyone's going to land on their feet. But look, it's like Tony says here, perfect one again. Chelsea, City, Arsenal, Villa, Man U, Newcastle, they will all strengthen up next season. Sure, they will. And we've got to strengthen up as well. But if I see Timo Werner come in now, I don't see much strength coming into it, mate. Andreas, he makes a good point here as well of what I said earlier. Conte and Mourinho wanted to win trophies. I mean, Mourinho even got to a cup final, and then that dickhead Levy sacked him like a week before. Levy wanted 4th place, and the fans just wanted to be entertained. Now, let me make a point to you here, yeah? I mean,
Good point.
Where you haven't been on here and that, I'll make you a point, yeah? He came into a very toxic club, very toxic team, yeah? Not easy. One of the hardest things for a manager I've always seen is winning that fan base over when it's broken. No, not for this man, yeah? This man had the easiest job a manager has ever had in football, in my opinion, on winning these fans over, on winning us over. Easiest job a manager has ever had. I could have done it. You could have done it, and so could everyone on the side here. As all he had to do was get the team and say, play fucking attacking football. Bang, job done. 90% of fans won over within 3 games. I could have done that.
I think you're fucking mad. Bollocks. I do not agree with that at all. How can you say that?
Quite easily.
Listen,
well, what is it everyone wanted? Everyone was pissed off with the sitting back with Conte and Mourinho. We've had enough of this sitting back, old school fossil football shit. We want to see attacking football. Yeah, I go and tell the team to play attacking football. 3 games, everyone loved him off. Why? Because we was kicking the ball forward, not backwards. Easiest job ever.
No, it's not.
On that side, winning over the fans. On that side,
No.
it was the easiest job ever. Me and you could have done it, mate.
Do you know? Listen, this club has been in a dark place. A dark, dark, dark place. Last season, the whole fan base. I mean, a lot of us, we hated Tottenham. Tottenham was the bane of our lives. We love this club dearly. We all do. But last season was so bad, and so you talk about predictable with Ange Postecoglou, my friend. Please go back to Conte and remember what that was like. You knew exactly what was coming every single week, bar none. It was shocking.
Yep. So what you've just done is made me right, because it was so shocking, so predictable, so sitting back, that as all Ange had to do was come in and say, right, let's play attacking football. And the fans were like, thank fuck for that. We're playing attacking football. There you go. He's won the fan base. You've just made me right.
Well, at least he did it.
There you go. You just made me right, mate. But the rest of it, he's got a bloody hard job. But winning that fan base, one of the easiest ones ever. And that's usually the hardest trick to do. That's usually the hardest one to actually get the fans.
Thank God he did then. Thank God he did. And you know what? I appreciate the fact that I watch every single one of his. If there's any sort of interview, every single press conference, I watch them all. I love Ange Postecoglou's mentality. Listen, I do agree with you on points. He does need to adapt in certain situations, but I love the way Ange works. He wants to win. He wants to do it well, and his priorities are right. I want to play good football, I want to do it for the fans. He says all the right things, and I believe him when he says these things, because this man is pure football. This is a man raised in Australia. I think he's Greek Australian or whatever he is. Raised in Australia, would stay up till 3 a.m. to catch Premier League games. I mean, he was a Liverpool fan. He is blood through blood a football fan, and I love his charisma. I like what he's done around the club. I mean, look at the way the players speak about him. Have you ever seen any of his motivational speeches?
I've seen a couple of them, and I watched one the other day, which was a lot better than what I have seen because he was actually being more realistic with it.
Yeah. I mean, if we ever go to war, please get him in the same room as me to make a speech.
Well, look, the thing is, though, really, he's no different to Conte. They're the same person. They're the same basic person. It's just they play opposite styles of football.
One attacking, one defending.
Yeah. And the other thing is with it, and this is where Ange is good, but again, in some ways, does himself no favours. Now, the best way I can describe it is I relate myself to people on other shows and that.
Cool.
And I can tell you something, and it'll be blunt and blatant. Some people will take it, other people will get offended by it, just by the way I've said it. He's now got a way of doing it, and that's a Conte style, my sort of style. Fuck it, it is what it is. Say it how it is. I ain't beating about or blowing sunshine up nothing just to keep nobody happy. I say it how I see it. Some like it, a lot don't like it. Bollocks. I couldn't care less. Now, with that aspect, Ange is exactly the same, except he says it in such a way that it's so much more, I won't say politically correct, but it's so much more friendly and it's so much nice and it's got mate on the end of it that a load of people just take it in so much better because it just sounds so much better when he's actually trying to say the same things as Conte. This is what I'm asking you now. Do you think he's actually trying to do what Conte did and just prove that this team is just too shit to do what he wants with it? And he's proving a point with it. And he's basically saying that I can't do nothing with this team unless you help me, mate, at the end of it. Whereas Conte blatantly ripped into it and said it how it was. And a lot of people loved him for it, but a lot of people hated him for it.
No.
Ange has just got a better way.
No, because he turned around and he said their players are going to be leaving because they're not buying into our new way of doing things. He's turned around and said that. So Conte, again, for everything he said, and god damn did I agree with that guy. I did, 100%. When he came out and said that in the press conference, I couldn't believe it. But no, I don't think Ange is trying to do that at all. I think Ange is just trying to implement his style of football. And it's going to be rough. And he said it's going to be rough. And the thing is, he turned around and said, we haven't got to worry about just players coming in. There's going to be players leaving. We're going to have to get rid of a few people. Well, this is what he's saying he's going to do. Like, if I'm not mistaken, and people can tell me if I'm wrong here, it feels like there's a bit of a dark cloud over Spurs. And I feel like at the moment, because we've lost a few games and things haven't gone exactly how we want it, just to be honest, we all want to win 5-0 every game. I just feel like people, and myself included, need to be, and I know we don't want to hear this fucking word, patient. We need to be a bit patient. Ange said this was going to happen. Pundits have said Spurs look fantastic when they play well, but you can tell with this style of football they're going to take some hidings every now and again. And that's exactly what has happened. And as far as Ange goes, mate, he said everything we're concerned about is going to happen. And it has happened.
Yeah.
And you know what? He smiles in the face of adversity. Look, the reason why we're all like, oh shit, panic stations is quite simple, right? We've all been told, hey, you, be a patient, Spurs fan, be patient. We're all fucking sick of being patient. We've had enough, right? We've had enough. We've had enough of the bullshit. Build a team, build a young team, and then we'll progress. And then it moved to a little bit of older players, and then it's just all bollocks. Like, Ange is trying to do something here, and I feel like he's doing it the right way. I feel like if this club is ever going to change, I honestly feel like, and again, I hope I'm not wrong for saying this, I feel like he could be the one, because when I hear him speak, I feel like he's got an aura about him. And like I said,
that's exactly what I said. He's just got such a way you can put it that people like it so much more.
No, but it's correct though. That's the thing. It's not just
what. And you're telling me Conte wasn't correct. You're telling me Conte weren't correct on what he said.
No, Conte was 100%. Listen, Mourinho and Conte, guys, right? Help me out here. Are you honestly telling me they didn't turn up for a payday? They didn't give a shit about the team. Neither one of them did. I promise you this.
That's why half of them play football or manage anyway.
But what? Okay. But look at this. Jose Mourinho, Conte. What's the one thing they've both got in common? They've gone to championship winning teams that spend huge amounts of money. Why they ended up at Tottenham Hotspurs, I do not know. Because we don't spend money. We don't. We never. And when we do, it's on useless shite. Instead of, wow, let's have a look here. Bruno Fernandes at the time looks great. That's exactly what we need because Eriksen is on the downturn and wants to fuck off. Let's go get that guy. They want 60 million. Oh, that's too much. Okay, something else. This is what I'm saying. Like people are, oh yeah, Conte and Mourinho. Yeah, they're both amazing managers, great coaches.
They're more amazing than Ange.
Sure both, well, look, yeah, 100 million%. But you can only, I mean, I suppose it's similar to you can only beat what's in front of you. Listen, I'll
go with that one. I'll go with that one. You're right.
You know what I mean? So Ange has been given opportunities and he's won wherever he's gone. And it's always been bumpy the first couple of seasons. So I'm just saying, I know we're all struggling with this whole patience thing. I fucking get it because I'm like every single one of you. I'm frustrated. I'm fed up. I'm tired. Listen, I'm so superstitious that if Spurs lose a game, and please somebody say something in chat if you're the same as me. If Spurs lose a game, I'll have a terrible week. But things just go wrong. I don't know why. But I don't know. Do you get any of that, or is it just me? Am I crazy?
I just think I'm at that point, mate, where I'm past caring in a lot of ways in that aspect. Yeah. Because when you just try and be so... The thing is with Spurs, and the thing is, if you want to be it with life and that, mate, there's being positive, negative, and there's being realistic. But if you want to be realistic about Spurs, you're going to be a lot more negative than you are positive.
Yeah, million%.
And that's being and that's realistic. So then you'll get called toxic, you'll get called this, you'll get called that. And I'm just like, well, no, bollocks, mate. I'm just speaking the truth. Some people just can't handle the truth these days. I get it if someone wants to be as positive as anything, but that's when you end up getting kicked in the bollocks twice as hard as far as I'm concerned. So I try not to do it that way.
No,
look. I totally agree with what you're saying on he's trying to get himself in there and he's trying to get his style away in, yeah? I totally get you. And I think he is. But the man has got to adapt. He's got to adapt Premiership football. And this is what we're not seeing yet. And this is what people are starting to question. Especially with the game against Chelsea and Arsenal, where, I don't know, maybe he should have just got Mickey Mouse and put him down there because he'd have done a better fucking job. Or maybe you should have got someone from the youth academy down there, or at least plays as a left back or left wing back and that, and put him down there. He weren't going to do a no worse job than Ben Davies or Chicken Royale, was he?
No.
But again, he doesn't want to seem to try anything like that. Basuma, He is not a defensive midfielder. He's been absolutely shocking over the past 20 games when we played him. And for me, I was one who bigged him up at the season, saying I think that he can control the game better than Benton Court.
Me too.
But he's gone to shit, and he just kept playing and playing him and playing him. I don't even think the man knows who his best midfield is yet, because literally all of them have gone to shot. About the only one that stood their ground for a significant amount of time was Sarr. And even he seems to have gone downhill now.
I do feel the way we play, I do feel we would benefit massively from an informed Højbjerg. Yeah, I'm talking about the Højbjerg that first turned up to Tottenham. The guy that would just sit in front of that back four and just protect. Like, the problem is we don't exactly have, the players. I mean, what is he supposed to do? I mean, we talk about Emerson Royale, we talk about Ben Davies. What is he supposed to do? I mean,
play with the deck of cards he has got. It's like what Tony says here. Conte took us from 9th to 4th and Champions League with a shit squad. No one complained that he was backed or not. Of course, he lost his shit. Yeah, I mean, you look what Conte done with us. Now, if you'd personal opinion here, if you'd have now gone given Ange, that team that Conte had last season, we'd be fighting relegation, even if we still had Harry Kane on there. But that's down to the tactics and the style of play. I'm one who believes with the team we've got now, it suits Conte's style down to a T.
You know what? You couldn't be more right. You couldn't be more right. It's ironic, isn't it? You get a manager out of the door and you bring in players that suit his system perfectly. It's hard to take. But look, I've got faith in Ange. Look, I got to tell you, I'm not. I know I seem like Mr. Positive and all that bollocks. I'm really not. I'm really not. I'm truly not. I've read the situation. Jesus Christ, the end of last season, I'd nearly given up on Spurs. I think last season was the first time in my entire life I turned off a Tottenham game halfway through.
Yeah.
And my Spurs friends stopped talking to me because I'm so negative all the time about it. Because I see through the bullshit these Tottenham Hotspurs 9 out of 10 times. But I've got to be honest, and I wish I could share this sort of enthusiasm with you boys, but I feel like something is going to happen in the next couple of seasons. I do. I think we grin and bear this rough period, because it is a rough period. Players, for whatever reason, if you could tell me, I'd appreciate it, but for whatever reason, players seem to have lost that.
Again, we're back to what I said at the start. He seems to have lost the dressing room. Or is it, do you reckon, that a few of the players on there know they're on the way out? So, I mean, Maddison should have been off 3 or 4 games ago, and he should have just been giving Lo Celso a go. Now, I know Lo Celso's been shit for us for 5 years or whatever, but when he has come on this season, he's done things.
Yep.
Maddison has been that poor since he's come back from injury. Right, take him off. You're playing crap. Put someone else there. Give it a chance. Give something else a try. Don't wait until you're 3-0 down or 4-0 down before you decide to do something. In about 5 separate games, he's done that.
Yep. I've got a question for you regarding Lo Celso. Right, Lo Celso, for me, the reason why I don't think he gets used as much as perhaps he should is because Lo Celso's not a playmaker. I feel like Lo Celso is that player that will get into advanced, dangerous areas rather than playmake. How would you feel about seeing a Maddison and Lo Celso with like a Højbjerg as a holding CDM? Do you feel like that would work?
With that one, Højbjerg shouldn't even be touched with a barge pole, basically. And I'm one who stuck up for him quite a lot. I wanted him to play in that Arsenal game for one reason and one reason only, and that weren't to play football. That was to take out Odegaard. And I thought that's what Ange done, but it obviously wasn't. And Højbjerg is not good enough for this squad if we want to go forward. Same as I say, if we want to go forward and challenge for titles, Johnson is not good enough. Kulu is not good enough. Velez, don't even know him. Werner is not good enough if we want to go forward and win titles, which we all know is just not going to happen. But Ange was the one who stated it to everyone. Again, shot himself in the fucking foot. We've got to do something. And Lo Celso there, I mean, me personally, I'd be playing Bentancur there as the defensive midfielder because he can play deep line playmaker as well. And he done it at Juventus for 4 years, 3.5 years. You've got to try things. When it ain't working, you've got to try something. But then I do understand that he's trying to hammer his way into it. I just want that bit of hope off my man that can show me he does see another side, that he does have a plan B. I mean, but Lo Celso is going to be gone by the end of the season anyway. I mean, when it comes to this one,
we're activating a contract clause for him.
I've heard that we're meant to be offering him another 2-year contract. Why the fuck would we want to do that?
I have no idea because he's not playing. You're absolutely right. It makes no sense.
That one, I can't even answer to it. Why would we even offer Lo Celso another contract? What would be the point? I mean, he's been with us about, nearly 5 years? And he's been on loan, 3 times now, I think? 2-3 times? Or he's injured most of the time? Get him out. Along with all the other ones we've got to get rid of as well. Tanganga. He's got to go.
Oh, my God.
Chicken Royale. Chicken Royale. He has got to go. Davis. Yeah, okay. Been a good servant at the club and whatever. Not the worst one. Definitely ain't the fucking best one. But he's got to go. Højbjerg. Get him out. Richarlison. We can go and spend 65, 70 million on that. Are you telling me that me or you or anyone down the side here couldn't have come up with a better buy than Richarlison, who's meant to take Harry Kane's place for 65 million?
Yeah.
Now we go to... Now, this one wasn't on Ange. But now this is where we look at the club bigger and look at Levy. Who's gone and done this? Richarlison, 65 million.
Do that. Please don't do that because when we get onto that subject, I'm a very different person.
Go for it.
Yeah.
Say what you got to say, mate. That's what you wanted to do, ain't you? Richarlison, 65 million.
Is a fucking joke.
No,
not today. We're not ready for the Daniel Levy topic today. Please.
Oh, no. Because I've got a point with the Daniel Levy side of it. Because it comes back on Ange. So, is Ange just the sort of manager that is lying to the fans, basically, and just trying to say what he wants them to hear and then making us unstable with it? Or is he just another Levy fucking puppet saying what he's got to say to keep Daniel Levy happy?
I think, and do you know what? At the start of the season, this is what I said. Ange is Levy's perfect manager. Why? Ange is, for the most part, a bargain bucket manager. He will go and try and find diamonds in the rough. And that's what he's done his whole career.
A Brighton manager sort of thing. No disrespect to him, but he'd be perfect at a sort of Brighton manager, isn't it? That's how I see him. Yeah.
So Levy's got, okay, this guy doesn't, because Ange doesn't feel like he's got to spend a lot of money. He said you don't need to spend crazy amounts of money to find great players. This is what he said. This is his own words. But it does appear like Ange is Levy's perfect manager. Here comes a guy that will, has his fingers in pies and he knows where he can find good players on the cheap. And for the most part, he does. I mean, what he did at Celtic was sublime.
Yeah, but come on again.
No, I know, but then it goes. Okay, you're going to say, yeah, Scottish League. Okay, fine. You gave me an example earlier of Xabi Alonso, guys. Xabi Alonso, yeah. Well, can we just examine that for 5 seconds? Xabi Alonso. You all say to me, "Oh, Xavi's done this." Bollocks. Hear me out. A failing Bayern Munich, right? A Borussia Dortmund that has absolutely nosedived in the last 5 years.
They're in the Champions League final.
Well, yeah, it's true, but they've not done well. They've not been as dominant as they were. But like I say, the Bundesliga
last season they was on it to the last day and only lost it because of goal difference. So I wouldn't say they've nosedived. Leverkusen, I don't even.
maybe
If I
not
remember
because-
right, Leverkusen, I think you've just made the wrong example here. That's all. Leverkusen, I don't even think they'd won anything.
No, first time in their history they've won the title. First time in their history.
Or anything. I don't even know if
surely
they've won a
not.
cup, tell you the truth. I'm not even sure if they
No.
actually won a cup. But I'm sure someone will check that one out. I don't even know if they actually won a cup. But they've never won the title in that, and he's gone unbeaten there. But again, that's a whole different thing to them being at Celtic and being in bloody Scotland. I mean,
Well,
again,
Leverkusen have always been up there. They've always
been up and down all the time. They've been times where they've looked good, solid, and there's been times where they've nearly been relegated in that as well. But look, I want to get to a point here that Tony's made. Where we got who?
We got Berber and Son from Leverkusen, didn't we?
Son, yeah.
And Berbatov, no?
I think that might have been, I think that might have been Leverkusen he came from. I think it might have been, Right, they've had some brilliant players, mate. They really have. It's just same old story out there. Munich just comes in and says, thank you, come again, and just take the players they want. Like it happens over here at times. But what Tony's saying here, now this is one thing I wanted to see off Ange, because there's times where he could have done it. Question, what do you think Ange will do with the kids? Like Bergville, Phillips, Velez, Donnelly, Scarlett, Santiago, Devine, Donnelly, and Vuskovic. Now, there's been times where he could have used those players.
Well, two of them he couldn't have.
What do you think? But the question is
on loan to his parent club, and
question is, what do you think he's actually going to use any of the youth team?
Yeah, possibly. I mean, look, realistically, next season is going to be a tough season. We're gonna be in all competitions. We're gonna have Europe next season, which is going to be huge. I'd expect them to probably throw some of them in, maybe Carling Cup, possibly, maybe even FA Cup, one or two of them.
Well, that's another one. That's another one he screwed up with, wasn't it? At the start, makes 9 changes. Now you know what? If my man would have gone and got us to the cup final and won the Carling Cup, and we'd have finished in 10th or 11th or 12th or 13th even, I think a lot of Spurs fans would have sat there and said, do you know what? Bollocks, mate, you won us something. And give him the leeway for it as such, yeah? I know I would have. I mean, if you take me back 5 years, I didn't care about cups. I just wanted Champions League. Now I'm at the point where I just want a bloody cup. I don't care about the rest of it. Let me finish 15th and give me a bloody League Cup. That's how fucking bad it is at Spurs now. And he shot himself in the foot there as well, making 9 changes to play a Premiership team in the Cup. That was his first big screw up where people questioned him.
Yeah, that was not a great day.
No. So again, people are asking questions.
I mean, I think especially this season, I think he's just trying to get the best out of what he's got, and it's a tricky situation because, I mean, if we were to throw some youth into those cups that we played and the same results happened, you'd still feel the same as you do now. So as far as youth goes, I'm sure a couple of them will come in next season. But if they're not good enough, they're not good enough. And I know that Vlasa, how do you pronounce his name? Vlasovic. That 16-year-old from...
oh, I know what one you're on about, mate. I don't even like to pronounce names. I'll bite my tongue off at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But again,
you got him. Who else was there? There's another big one that's...
There was, but again, they're just kids. They are literally kids.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, a kid has made it here and there, but again, if we want to make title challenges, shouldn't we go in for bigger ones? I mean, you look at who else we got to get rid of as well. Roden, Regulon, Gill, Spence, that fat bastard, then Ndombele, and possibly the Celso.
On that topic, and Ndombele,
I can't stand Ndombele. And you know what? A harsh thing I just said, but I cannot stand him.
No. Do you know what? If you asked me, out of my 35 years of being a football fan, who is the biggest waste?
Exactly that, mate. Talent? Exactly that. Sorry, mate.
Gareth Bale Gareth Bale in an interview turned around and said, somebody said to him, what do you think of some of the Tottenham lads, and who's really surprised you? He said that Tanguy Ndombele, some of the things he's done and does in training, he says, I've never seen done before. This is a man that's played at Real Madrid for however many years he played at Real Madrid for. Tanguy Ndombele, when my grandchildren say to me, Granddad, was there ever a player that was absolutely world class but just had the worst attitude? This is Tanguy Ndombele. What a waste of a player. Could you imagine a Tanguy Ndombele with the right attitude and his level of talent in a Spurs team right now?
Some of the things I see him do once or twice on the pitch. You're like, yeah, the man's got some quality, definitely. But attitude is an understatement.
Kante on his arse. Kante.
It wouldn't have
on his
mattered.
arse.
It wouldn't have mattered. The man would still be standing there with his phone ordering a Big Mac and cheese. He's that bad. He's going to be a hard one to get rid of because of how much we have to pay for him. Now, before we even get the players in, we got to get the players out as well. And we all know this ain't going to happen in 5 minutes. So again, Ange, I feel people need to give him a bit of time. But I feel he needs to get the stick as well because he ain't giving us much hope in other ways. I mean, this is what we came on here to talk about, isn't it? Where you're saying people should be giving him a lot more time. I'm saying, people should be giving him time, but he's done himself no favours.
Yeah, you are right. It's a matter of perspective on whether or not. I don't know if he has shot himself in the foot. I just think
I'm sure he has.
Yeah. Time will tell. Next season we'll find out, won't we? But
very true.
As far as
where do you think this will go next season? Do you think? I don't think we're going to be able to get rid of all the players we want to get rid of. I just want to see 3 serious players get bought. Because half those players, you couldn't even give them away.
I can tell you, actually, on that subject, there's a lot of interest in the Celso. We may yet sell him. We probably won't, but we might yet. Joe Rodon, people will be snapped. Mm-hmm. Joe Rodon's had a fantastic
he's easy. He's an easier one to get rid of, The harder ones are people. Snapped. Look, anyone who's saying to me about the the AC Milan are going to pay 30 mil for Chicken Royale, I believe that when I see it, mate. That one is just a joke on its own. But right, another thing I'll ask you then, like I say, you're fresh to this, and like everyone, the reason that brought the fella on here is because I spoke to him before and he wanted to have a talk to me about Ange and what's happening. And it's another person, another opinion. And like I've said to everyone, anyone is worth on there to come and debate, have their opinion, whatever. You don't have to agree with things. Where do we need to definitely improve? If we need to get 3 players out there and we can get good players, 3 good quality players, not some mediocre bullshit like Timo Werner. He's not even mediocre. He's just crap, Or some mediocre player that might have a bit of chance like Johnson. 3 solid players. Where have we got to improve most? Where do you think?
Are you asking me realistically, or you're asking me fantasy?
No, I'm asking you realistically on where we have to improve most on that pitch.
Well, realistically, that question is void because we all know we're not going to go out and buy big name players.
That's not what I'm saying. No, you've missed the question. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying 3 places on that team that we need to improve the most. No, we're not going to. That's another point as well. He's even blatantly stood there and said we're going to go for quantity, not quality.
Yeah, when did he say that himself? Why did you say this last time? When did he say that?
Have I still got it on here? No, I haven't got it on here, but I'll send you the WhatsApp to it, where he basically stood there and he said Spurs are a club that we don't go for world-class signings, whatever else and that. We go for quantity over quality, basically. He didn't use those 2 exact words, but basically what he said, that was it. And I think quite a few people have seen me put it on here.
Promise me you'll send me that because I have not seen that anywhere.
No, I said that over to you. He blatantly admitted that Spurs don't go for quality players. We go for players that can do things. Universal players sort of thing. He basically said we're going to go for quantity, not quality, and that is what Spurs
Well,
do.
I do know our transfer situation has changed, hasn't it? So I know now. Is it analytics? We're no longer. We've moved over to a digital age. You know, Brighton have picked up umpteen brilliant players. They basically run their scouting off analytics, which is now what Spurs are doing.
They play Football Manager.
It's like a yeah, I suppose. But it's based on a progressive thing. And funny enough, Ange has been doing that the whole time, which is why he's probably been successful. So what you're asking me, which 3 positions in the team need what reinforcing?
Well, that we need to go and get 3 good players to walk into that place and take that place. I mean, Tony always mentions 2 here that I would kill for that team. One of them, and that's Locatelli, but that one ain't going to happen. But 3 places we need to improve on that team the most. Like some are saying here, strikers, wingers, 6, 8, fullbacks.
Yeah, and they'd be right. No, listen, everyone is right. I mean, realistically, from what we've seen, the midfield needs redoing, the attack needs redoing. I mean, I found myself this year being angry at Son, saying he's finished, he's washed. The man forgot how to shoot. 3 places, Jesus.
I'll go to that one in a minute.
Yeah. I mean, Jesus, I suppose from what we've seen at the minute, it's got to be the left and right back. We need a backup left and right back because without them 2, the system just doesn't work, does it? That's got to be.
Backup is the wrong word, mate. Backup is the wrong word. And the person you can thank for this is mate. Everyone knows him. You probably know him. Seen him, Mr. Box Office. When he hammered it into everyone, perfect. It is not backup what we need at that club. We need quality. We need players that can get into that it's not going to be a backup player. We don't want backup shit at the club. I'm basically saying exactly what he says because he hammered it into my head and he's 100% right on what he says. I don't want no backup crap. I want a player that can walk into that team. Well, there we go. But what are the 3 positions? You've said we need backup on wing backs. No. What 3 positions do we need? 3 players that can walk into that team now.
What, and replace?
Yeah, basically. 3 players that will get into that team now, that will walk in there. You don't have to say name of the players. 3 positions.
No.
100% need the player.
Okay. It's not going to be anyone in defence, and it's not going to be the keeper. So for me, it's either going to be the forward line or the midfield. I would say, you know what, to be quite honest with you, I feel like we're gutless in midfield at times. We are bereft of creativity, and at the very same time, we're also bereft of that out-and-out defensive midfielder, that guy that reads the danger. We're missing one of them too. So I'd possibly say, and I love Sarr to bits. I think he's a great little player. I think he's come out of nowhere, to be honest. But I'd probably replace Bissouma, Sarr,
and we need a striker.
I was going to say it's either Son or.
Well, Son. Look, with Son, if we go and I mean, I'm a firm believer that Son is on his way down.
Yes, he is.
He's past his best.
Space.
Yeah. But he's losing a yard or 2 a pace, same as Salah. And I know some people love to have a go at me for this one. Again, it's opinion, couldn't care less. He's at that age now where he's on the way down. His finishing is still clinical, but Son without pace, there's no player there as far as I'm concerned. He relies on his pace. I'm not saying he is
still fast.
So Salah, but they've both lost a yard or 2 a pace, and they're going to keep losing their pace as they get older. So we're at a prime time now where we could actually sell Son and still get some money for him, or is it back to the same old Spurs where we're too emotional over our fucking players and that. Oh, but he's been great for us. Yes, he has. Or can't we just be a ruthless big club for a change?
Son is right. Sorry, we wish. Son is too valuable of an asset to sell. Son brings in the Korean market.
100%.
Daniel Levy, Son is too valuable to sell. He's worth more to us at the club than he is away from it, 1,000,000%. So Son is I've heard he's getting a new contract actually.
Yeah, I'm not saying Son's got to go. I'm not saying that at all. I mean, he's the last one on the list we get rid of. But if we got an offer for him and I knew that was going to go on a solid player, I wouldn't see why not on selling the player. But if we're going to not buy Werner, which please don't.
It'd have to be,
put Son there, and we need that striker.
I got one for you. Latrano Martinez. I know it's not going to happen. I'm aware of that. But if they offered a swap plus cash deal for Latrano Martinez, let's say Son and, I don't know, 40 million, would you take that?
I'd have to look at it, definitely. But the point I'm making with it is, again, back to Spurs, we are not a ruthless club. And we all know Son will stay until he's 34, 35 for the money that he brings in for the club. But this is where 100%. I'd want to see Spurs being a ruthless club. Because Chelsea, as soon as the player was on the way down, gone. Man U, the way they used to be, player on the way down, gone. Arsenal did the same. What was his name? Aubameyang, they got him out. They was willing to get Ozil out. We and the fan base as well is too emotional. It clings on to the players too much. Yeah, but he's been good over the years. Yes, he's been fucking excellent. But if we can get 70 million for him and put that on a younger up-and-coming player who's good, I don't mean like some 21-year-old, do it. But we won't. We never do.
We're all guilty.
But Son is the last one to get rid of. I'm not saying we need to sell him. But for me, we need a winger because we haven't got one. Even if we put Son on the left, he's not a winger. He's an inverted forward or inverted winger. He can't cross the shit. He never could. No. And you can't just leave Son in the middle because he just has not got the power to play it. In that aspect, Richarlison can do a better job than him sometimes because he can actually take a physical side of it, even though I think Richarlison is crap. But we need that, I don't know, someone there like Isaac, Ivan Toney, someone like that there. I'm just giving a couple of names because we need that striker out and out. And then we need that winger, the way I see it, who can actually get up there and cross that ball into the box regular. Not Johnson, who takes 10 attempts to do it. Yeah. And then I'll go with practically what everybody else says. We need them pair of bollocks in midfield. We need that number 6, whatever they want to call it, DM, anything, We need that one who can stand there and boss that midfield. And for me, Paulinho would be Paulinho, is that how you say his name, from Fulham, would be your perfect man.
Yeah. I've got 2, and we've been rumoured to go for one of them. So the winger, I would replace one of the wingers with. Have you ever heard of a guy called Nico Williams?
Doesn't ring a bell.
Okay, Nico Williams plays for Atletico, Atletico Bilbao. Absolutely electric.
I don't really follow the Spanish league. I follow Italian.
No, fair enough. No, fair enough, my friend. He is electric, lightning fast, can strike a ball, can pass the ball. Tricky little bastard. He is an absolute danger, a danger. So for me, I'd go and get him. Apparently, we're rumoured to get him. Apparently, we've been in contact with him. I don't know how true that is. And like yourself, I'd go with like a Paulinho or, listen, FFP is floating about Newcastle. Maybe a Guimaraes. Is it Guimaraes?
Oh, but that looks like that's all going to change. All that FFP stuff might be changing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're looking to making it more like American football, where you've got a certain amount of money to spend over the year. Spend it on what you bloody want, but it's all in one: wages, what you spend, everything else. Like the American football has it, they'll have 6 or 7 players in that team on 10 grand, and the one at the very back, I can't remember the name of the one, the important one who boots that ball for them, he gets paid 150 grand because they've only got a set amount to spend over the year. Yeah. They're looking at changing that. Whether that happens or not is a different story. But you're right, we're still on the FFP thing at the moment. But with the FFP Kings, aren't we? And don't
Yeah,
worry,
oh
we
my
succeed in
God,
life.
that's what's we are in such a position to be a fucking huge club and buy players. It's it's like FFP was made for Daniel Levy. It's like
It's
he was
it's
he was in
stressful
charge.
coming on the show, isn't it? It's stressful coming
Yeah,
on the
no,
show and
mate.
doing
You know
this, isn't
what?
it?
No, because I'm trying to stay positive. I'm trying to do, and again, I don't know where this has come from. I think it's because we're no longer watching Conte or Mourinho ball. I think that's why I'm clinging on to the hope that something's going to happen. But in reality, the way I look at Spurs at the minute is we have the big club. We've got a big club fan base. We have a little club mentality within. So what I mean by that is the
He's a businessman.
way our club. Yeah, I mean, look, listen. There's a couple of things you could say about Daniel, the snake in the grass, Levy. The guy is a genius. Genius.
Yes.
Okay. He's made Tottenham. Listen to this for a second.
I'm listening. I've heard it
Are
all
you all
before.
ready for this? This is big. Daniel Levy has made Tottenham Hotspurs a bigger club without being successful on the pitch.
What Daniel Levy has actually done is made us a big business. We shouldn't even be
But
rated in the
football in
number
general.
10 in the world. We are only there purely for the money. We have no right to be rated in the top 10. We have one cup in what, 15, 16 years? And like I've said on other shows and that, I'm not here to support a fucking business. I'm here to support a football club. Now, I totally understand that Levy, when it comes to money and everything and that, he's probably the best in football at it. But now we've got everything. I want to see him actually do it for the football. But no, you can guarantee we're going to have that hotel. We'll have our little Formula One go-kart bit underneath. We'll keep having our concerts and everything else. And it'll just keep going round in fucking circles. While that prick is here, we won't get nothing. You know what? You might as well ring him up. You might as well ring him up and ask him for a beer out and say, "Sweet mate, I'll see you next Tuesday." That is what he is.
You want to know something that'll make you feel sick? I was told, because a friend of mine's quite clued up, he said Tottenham Hotspur could spend 400 million without being touched by FFP.
Yeah, we could.
Yeah.
So it all says on the money side.
The problem is, without ending this on a downer, we've all sat there for years and gone, maybe this is the year we go out and we buy these big players. You know, a few of my friends will say to me, "Oh, you know, it's not about spending money." I hate to say this. It is. It is. Of course, it's about spending big money. Of course, it's about buying the best players. Sorry, my daughter's kicking off. It's
All
about
right,
buying
mate.
some
I'll
of the
end it
best
in a
players.
second.
Can you hear that?
Yeah. Don't worry, mate. I think we've all heard them all before. That's all right.
Sorry. I better go and deal with that in a minute. Yeah. Look, at the end of the day, I just we're never going to get what we want out of Daniel Levy, and I feel like until he leaves, you know, and leaving behind a fantastic infrastructure is what we've got because we're a self-sufficient club. I just feel like none of us are ever going to get what we want, and what we want is these top end players.
So,
and you know,
last quick question I'll go with then before I finish this off. Next 3 games, 3 results. Burnley.
Who's the last one?
Burnley, City, and Sheffield United, if I remember right.
Yeah, I'm just going to go with the upbeat on this, and I'm going to go beat Burnley. No, I'm just going to go with the truth. Lose to Burnley, beat Man City, lose to Sheffield Wednesday or Sheffield United.
Done. Well, I think we could, even the way we're playing at the moment, we could lose to a Mickey Mouse team, yeah? But I still think we should be beating Burnley.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure we're going to lose to City come love nor money. I mean, I keep saying that we're probably beaten this and that. That's just for the joke of the situation, yeah? Even Levy on this one will come down and tell him, lose.
Yeah.
Lose this fucking game, mate. Because otherwise, if we end up beating City and that makes them pricks win the league, this whole fan base is going to go, bonkers, mate.
Over.
He's going to
Yeah.
go off key. So even Levy is going to come downstairs and say, Ange, mate, lose that game, mate. And that is going to be that. We've got to lose that game. And I think we can get a win, hopefully lose, and a draw, because I still think we just have a dodgy result, and I think we're still scraped 5th place. So we should have Europa. You agree with that?
Yeah, I do. I think you're right. I think you make. I just look. All I learn with is this. I hold excitement for next season. I've no idea. How do you feel about next season? Are you excited or no?
I'm
No,
interested. I'm interested.
Okay.
Excited would be too much of a word. I'm interested to actually see whether this is whole long-term plan that Ange has had, like we've been saying at the start, so that he can get some players in, get rid of some crap, and then start adapting to his way, and then show us that he can adapt to certain points of a game. Or I'm interested to see, is this going to be where it proves he still goes and gets some players and still plays the same way, doesn't adapt nothing, and still don't make subs until we're 3-0 down. But I'm interested for next season. The man deserves at least another 6 months to prove he can adapt. I don't care if we lose games 3-2, whatever, and that. As long as I see him adapting to points in the games, trying a little different thing, not totally changing his whole system, but working with the team and that, then I'll be fine. Give him another season, and then we'll see where we go from there. But at the moment, he's given me nothing to get excited about. But he's given interest. And I think we'll stick it on that one. So, cheers for coming on, mate. Appreciated. I will have you on here again. You said you wanted to come on and have a debate and have your opinion with a few things. Been a pleasure having you on. And everyone, if you give us a quick like and subscribe, it is appreciated. And let's just hope I don't have to come on here cursing and shouting because we get done 5-0 by Burnley. And everyone, go out, have a beer, do what you got to do, have a good night, and later on.